Hey guys! Alright, so today I'm back on a little bit of a more serious note. What we're going to be talking about, or what I'm going to be talking to you today about, is basically about my relationship with my dad, losing him, dealing with that, and still dealing with that, and I guess in a sense of how I deal with my emotions. If you've ever lost a parent or have a parent with cancer or something like that, then you could probably relate to this story, or if you've just lost someone in general really close to you. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be getting ready and doing my makeup and talking to you guys about this. So my dad was an awesome dude, okay? Like, he loved the wildlife. He loved motorcycles. He was a hunter. He loved country music. He loved having fun. He loved being around family. He loved being around friends. Like, he was just an all-around, like, awesome dude, right? And my whole life he was sick. There wasn't ever really a time in my life that he wasn't sick. Like, I want to say, even when my mom was pregnant with me, he was getting, I think, maybe his transplant surgery. He had a really bad kidney, and that's kind of how he found out about his real dad, because his stepdad didn't have a matching one, I believe, and they had to tell him, like, hey, this isn't your real dad, and that's a whole different story. If you want to hear about it, let me know. But yeah, so he was always sick, but he always loved to live his life, you know, like, he was just always trying to have fun. Like, the first time I was on a motorcycle, I was maybe 6 years old, and, like, it was always fun. And, like, he always had, like, he was a part of the American Knights, if any of you guys know about them, and, like, they loved going on motorcycle runs, and, like, he was just an all-around, like, good dude, you know. And he did have a temper, okay, like, I'm not going to say he didn't, and he had a little bit of road rage, but so do I, so it's probably where he get it from. And, basically, like, he just loved to have fun, and, you know, I love him. And so there was me, my sister, and his son, Kyle, who's my stepbrother, and, like, that's my family. So basically, you know, we always listen to country music, so, like, my friends don't listen to country music, but, I like to, I guess, when they're not with me. So anyways, he was really sick, and having to grow up with a sick parent was definitely, I want to say, hard on my mom for sure, and it didn't help either that they argued a lot. Like, it was chaos, like, chaos. And, so we would always have to go visit my dad in the hospital, and honestly, I didn't really go as much as I should have. I was always just more concerned about partying and forgetting about it, and, like, it's just always so hard for me to go somewhere and see someone so sad and, like, have to leave them, and, like, it's a really shitty thing, but, like, it's just how I am, and I think it's just a way that I try to defend myself or protect myself from anything like that, and it's just how I am. And I was just constantly worrying about, like, the phone call, as I guess I would call it, and thinking about how, you know, like, what if one day, like, I'm at school or if I'm at work and, like, I get this phone call and saying, like, your dad's not here anymore, like, that would kill me, like, you know? And so, like, it was just always this constant worry that I would talk about with my friends, and, like, I had this one friend and her dad had passed away really young, and I never really, like, understood, like, what it was like, you could say, and now I do. So if you're watching this and you know who you are, I apologize if I wasn't always the best person at being there. Sometimes I feel like I lack emotion a lot, and, like, I don't like being vulnerable. So it's something that I'm working on in my life. So You know, I'd always wonder, like, oh, is my dad gonna be able to walk me down the aisle at my wedding? Or, you know, is, like, this gonna happen? And we would always go on 4th of July vacations together. Like, even if we didn't want to go, he made sure we went. And, like, we would spend this time out at my uncle's place in Michigan. And honestly, I can't look back and think of, like, the one time I had a bad 4th of July until after he passed away. My past 4th of Julys have not been awesome. I try to spend the day with my family and my mom and try to spend as much time with her as I can. And, I really just try to do that. And when I feel like when I finally go out with my friends, like, I just don't have fun. I don't know. I don't know why. I'm sorry if you're my friend and I was with you this year or last year and, like, you're seeing this and, like, you know, it's nothing against you. It's just, I don't know. It's like I always had awesome times with him and my sister, and I miss them both so much. Oh my god, it looks so whack. I'm sorry. Just trying to keep my hair off my face. But yeah, so I would always try to make sure I had spent time with them, and we would do fireworks and, like, hang out in Michigan and do, like, these big campfires and go on the boat and go tubing, and it was just a lot of fun. And I'll insert some pictures of what I had. But what really sucks is there was one time my house got broken into, and they had stole my camera, and that camera had all of the pictures that I have of my dad, pretty much. And it was really hard for me. Like, one, my laptop got stolen, my camera, my phone, my friend's phone, like, all this stuff got stolen, jewelry, and it was really, really shitty, okay? Like, I'm not even joking with you right now. But, so yeah, you know, I don't even know how I got, oh yeah, 4th of July. So, but there was also so many other times where, like, he wanted to hang out and spend time. And, like, since, like, when my parents got a divorce, I was in 5th grade. And, you know, he was in the area for a little bit, but then he ended up moving out to where my grandma lives, out in Plainfield. And that's about an hour away from me. And we always talked about us moving out there and him wanting us to get out of the city, but, like, this is where my life was. Like, this is where my friends were. This is where I grew up. This is what I called home. I didn't want to leave. And, you know, like, I guess fine, like, if you get mad at your mom, like, it's a little bit of an escape, but it's, like, it's not ideal. And having to go back and forth, I mostly just ended up staying with my mom because this is just where I called home. And, I didn't spend as much time with him because, I don't know, maybe I was scared, or maybe, I don't know, I thought I was protecting myself. It just doesn't make sense to me in my head, and I regret it so much. Like, one of my biggest regrets in my life is not spending the time that I should have with my dad. So I'm telling you this right now, if you have someone in your life, and you know what, it doesn't matter. I never want to go to bed being mad at someone, especially my mom. I always tell her, like, even if we fight, I love you, good night, like, regardless. Like, that's just it, you know, like, people have been taken out of my life so fast, and it's just, it's too short to, like, be stubborn like how I am, or, you know, I don't know. So just try not to be like me, because I promise you it's more regret in the end. But anyways, so I didn't spend as much time with him, and he would always call me, like, say if something happened in Chicago, he'd be like, oh, are you okay? Like, I heard this and that. Or he would call me every night, and I would get so annoyed, and I hate myself for it, because it was just him trying to, like, love me and be there for his daughter, and, like, he would do anything for us, you know? Like, that's just who he was. Like, he would defend us till, like, the day he died. And, like, I just miss him a lot. But, so basically, from there, you know, we just kind of didn't spend as much time with each other because, one, I couldn't drive at first, and, just, I guess, like, all these different reasons. I can try to make up excuses, but none of them sound good. None of them sound worth it. Like, it just, I fucked up. And I'm telling you now, if you still have the chance, don't do what I did. So eventually my dad seemed like he was doing better. It's like he seemed good. And then all of a sudden, like, he just lost all feeling in his, I think it was his lower half, his body. He couldn't walk. He was very skinny. He couldn't live the life like he wanted anymore. Like, he was in a wheelchair for a little bit in a nursing home. And if any of my friends are watching this and you came with me to ever go see him or spend time with him, thank you, because it meant a lot, especially when I couldn't go with my sister. My mom didn't really want to go because they never really got along, and it was hard. It was hard. And so basically, I'm so stupid for trying to do this video while doing my makeup, so if it turns out good, I guess props to me. So that was really hard seeing him like that, because my dad always loved to take care of things and like do things and ride his motorcycle. Like, that's where he was truly happy, either with us or when he was out with his friends doing that. And when he couldn't do that anymore, like, I could just see the lack of life and desire, I guess. And basically it was really hard, I'm assuming, for him, but he always tried to have a brave face, and it got to almost a point where, like, I think he didn't even really know what was going on, or, like, you know, he was there, but it's hard to see someone you love so sick. And one day I was at work. I had worked at Outback at the time, and my grandma, my dad's mom, was calling me, and I thought that was really, really weird. That, like, you know, like, why would she be calling me? Like, not that it's like, oh my god, like, that's weird, she's calling me. It was just like random, you know, like, if they wanted to hear from me, usually my dad would call. And what happened is she said, Ashley, I need to talk to you for a second about your dad. And I was like, fuck. I was like, fuck, okay, like, you know, his birthday had just passed. I just saw him, like, I just gave him his card and, like, was with him, and, you know, like, we took pictures and all this stuff, and it was really awesome. But then she said that we need to talk about your dad, and I asked my manager, I was like, you know what, I need to step out for a minute. And she told me that my dad didn't want to continue with chemo anymore, and he didn't want to keep fighting, and that it was his time to give up, you know. And she told me he had a few weeks left to live. That's what the doctors had said. If he stopped treatment, like, that's what would happen. And my heart stopped, and I couldn't breathe, and I had a panic attack, and, like, it was really hard for me to have to deal with something like that, especially at work. And I just told my boss, I was like, I just found out some really bad news, like, I can't be here. And I had called my friends at the time, and she came and picked me up, and, like, they were just trying to talk to me, and, like, nothing she could have said would have made sense to me. Nothing that anyone would have told me would have made sense to me. And then, nothing anyone could have told me that day would have made me feel better. They could have tried, and I loved the support. And there was this one girl I really didn't fucking like, and she was there, and, like, she was just trying to act all, like, you know, like, oh my god, like, I'm your friend, like, I love you, like, you know, like, no, like, I don't like that. And thinking about having to tell my sister and my mom and everything just seems so gut-wrenching and, like, horrible. So the next day, my grandparents from my mom's side and I all went out there to see him, and it was really hard. It was really hard. you know, like seeing someone you love so much like that was just so painful. And I don't wish it upon anyone ever. And it really, like, you know, I called my sister and let him talk to her, and I felt even worse for her that she couldn't be there. And, you know, my mom talked to him on the phone and whatever. She has her own reasons for not going, but I know, Mom, you're going to see this and I love you. But I wish you were there with me. I don't know. You have your own reasons. I'm not saying this to make you feel bad. It's just, it's my story. And I love you so much. I love you so much. Like, you pretty much raised me as both parents, and like, you're awesome. And shout out to Sandy. But it was really hard. And I remember it was a Thursday that I had gone out there, and I don't know why I didn't just stay the night. I don't know why. I just wanted, you know, maybe to take him outside, but he just didn't seem like he wanted to do anything. And so, you know, they were like, oh, you know, like, you can stay here and like find someone to pick you up later. And I was just like, no, because my head was like, party. Forget about this. He has 2 weeks left to live. You'll come back tomorrow and you'll have some more time. I didn't have any more time. Time was up. And at 5 a.m. that morning, my dad passed away. Sorry. And I just remember that day so vividly. I was supposed to go to school. I was still in high school, about to graduate. And my mom woke me up and she was like, Ashley, we need to talk. And I just knew, you know, like, you just know. And I didn't want to wake up because I didn't want to have to hear what she said. But it was reality, and it was gut-wrenching. And I got I'm just really fucking all this up. I'm just really fucking all this up right now. If you've made it this far, this is probably the most anyone's ever seen me like tear up, because it's not my fucking cup of tea, okay? Like, no. But so yeah. And then within the next few days, it came time for the funeral and the wake, and they had this beautiful display of my dad's motorcycle and this picture of him standing so tall and proud and like in his natural kind of habitat, I guess you can say. And I'm gonna try and stop crying now because I need to finish my eye makeup. And it was very beautiful when I got there. And I you know, my friends came with me, or they met me there. But I just felt like such a stranger at my own father's wake. Like, you know, and like, that just sounds so weird. Like, I just felt so disconnected from like everyone. And, you know, like, even like, I didn't know much of his friends at the time anymore. And like, I just felt like such an outcast, which made me feel so much worse, because it's like, oh my god, like, you don't, like, I don't know anyone, you know? Like, it was just weird. And like, they had these 2 people always standing by his casket, because I guess like that's what they do in like the club he was in. And I went to like give them a hug and like whatever. I guess I wasn't supposed to do that. I guess they were like, told me like they're just supposed to stand there and guard the casket at all times, not talk. And so I was like, okay. And you know, like, people I haven't seen in years from my grade school came out, and it was really nice. Like, it was really, some people were unexpected, and it was really, really beautiful for them to come out and like be there for me, because as a kid I would always express the fear of losing him. So I really I really appreciated them doing that for me. And basically, since my mom didn't go, it was really hard for me. Like, she was, it seems weird, but like almost my glue. And like I felt like I was the only one from our immediate family to represent my father. And like it felt very, very strange to me. I don't know. And then like these comments that with my family that I don't even want to go into. Long story short, it was just not a fun time. And the next morning, now mind you, I didn't want to leave that night. I found myself after the week had finished kneeling down and staring at my dad and just looking at him and really just not wanting to leave because it would be the last time I saw him. And it sucked. It really, really sucked. And, you know, it came time where the guy who worked there was just kind of like, I'm sorry, but we're closing and I'm sure this is really hard for you, but like, it's time to say goodbye. My grandma came and my friends were waiting outside and I had to bring home all these flowers and like, I don't know. But crazy thing is that my family had went out to dinner that night and my uncle ran into my cousin Sam. And they hadn't talked in a long time. And, you know, this isn't my story to share, but I'll just say that my cousin passed away 2 weeks after my dad did. And if it wasn't for that night and for that dinner, I don't think they would have made amends. So I guess something good came out of it. I don't know. Anyways, so I was there I hung out with my friends, and the next morning, this was all really far. Like, Alsip, Illinois is about an hour-and-a-half drive from me, and I was late. I missed it. Nothing seemed to matter at that time, though. My world was just crashing down, and like, you know, like at that point, it's like, what am I really missing? I hated that I was late and I missed it, but I did. And I got to the dinner and I like, remember I was with my friends and a couple of my sister's friends. I was with one of my friends and two of her friends, and I just sat at this like back table with them, and I didn't really recognize anyone. My head was just in such a phase and a fog that I was just like, I don't know who you people are, you know, like I knew some of them, but like, and like there was obviously like the head table where my whole family sat, and like, I don't know, like things happen, you know, I'm not blaming anyone, honestly, everything happens for a reason, but so that was really hard, and coping with that, like, it just made me so angry and upset. And I was just hurt. There was nothing else I could tell you, that I was just hurt. And if you were one of the people that ended up in the crossfire of that, I'm sorry. But, you know, my coping mechanisms aren't the best. You know, I go out, I like to forget things, and I don't want to care. I don't want to care. And it was hard to have to deal with that. So, basically, oh my God, I'm trying to tell you is, don't take the time you have with your parents for granted, because in a second it could all be over. And I lost my train of thought. I have a lot of regret in my life. But I try every day not to be the stubborn, hard-headed, closed off, heartless kind of person that I can be. And I really try my best, but sometimes it's just so easy for me to cut people out because it's easier for me to know I cut someone out than I've lost them. And it's fucked up, but like, it's the truth. And if you made it this far, go give your parents a hug, send them a text, give them a call. Because one day they won't be there. And it sucks. But that's my story about my dad and everything and the amazing man that he was. And let me read you something. Okay guys, I am back. I had to do some stuff off camera. Basically what I wanted to show you was this. This necklace means the world to me, and it is priceless. And there was this one situation where I had these cards in my wallet. It's my dad. I had these in my wallet, and I had this in my wallet, or in my bag, and one of my friends stole my bag, and I lost it, and I found it later just dumped out everywhere. And it was just so heart-wrenching to know that someone could do that, especially someone you call your friend. Back to this necklace. This chain was my dad's, and it had a cross on it at first, and one day it broke, and I literally wanted to die. I just felt so alone and so empty and isolated, and like, what the fuck was the point, you know? Like, he gave up. It's not that easy though. So, you know, I don't know, I did, but this necklace right here, my uncle got for me and my sister. They both look like this. And what's so beautiful about it is, like, those are his ashes. And this necklace means the whole entire world for me. And after he had passed away, I just really wanted to give up. But then I read the back of this card, and it said, "I am home in heaven, dear ones, oh so happy and so bright. There is perfect joy and beauty in this everlasting light. All the pain and grief is over, every restless tossing past. I am now at peace forever, safely in heaven at last. There is work still waiting for you, so you must not idly stand. Do it now while life remaineth, you shall rest in God's own land. When that work is all completed, he will gently call you home. Ah, the rapture of the meeting. Oh, the joy to see you come." And every time I'm having a bad day, I read this card, and it reminds me that I need to keep pushing forward and not stop my life. As hard as it gets sometimes, because that's what he would want, and that's what would make him proud. And the only way I'm going to get through life now is with the sanctity of my own brain and my own knowledge, and, you know, figuring out how to push through. So, thank you for watching. Thank you for sharing this journey with me. Thank you for listening. If you like story times, comment below and tell me. I don't know what you guys want. I don't know what you guys like. But I'm here, and I love making videos. And it's really just become a true hobby of mine, a way for me to document my own life for myself, my sister, just to look back at any other time. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. And with that, love your parents, love yourself. Live every day like you're not going to see that person again, and just try to see the best of life. Thank you guys.